Right bracket chapter 5. Evil spirits. There are generally two kinds of spirits in the spirit world, or paradise. 1. Those who never had a body, consisting of the devil and his 1/3 of the hosts of heaven, as just discussed in the previous chapter, and 2. Disembodied spirits, those who once lived on earth, but have passed through mortality and are awaiting resurrection. Both of these types of spirits can have great influence over mortal tabernacles. This chapter will deal further with their presence and power which can be universally detected on earth. George Buchanan, J.D. 1130. I have no doubt that many of my brethren and sisters have sensibly felt in various places and at various times evil influences around them. Brother Joseph Smith gave an explanation of this. There are places in the Mississippi Valley where the influence or the presence of invisible spirits are very perceptibly felt. He said that numbers had been slain there in war, and that there were evil influences or spirits which affect the spirits of those who have tabernacles on the earth. I myself have felt those influences in other places besides the continent of America. I have felt them on the old battlegrounds on the Sandwich Islands. I have come to the conclusion that if our eyes were open to see the spirit world around us, we should feel differently on this subject than we do. We would not be so unguarded and careless, and so indifferent, whether we had the spirit and power of God with us or not. But we would be continually watchful and prayerful to our Heavenly Father for His Holy Spirit and His holy angels, to be around about us to strengthen us to overcome every evil influence. The adversary has numerous agencies at his command, and he seeks to control and lead to destruction the inhabitants of the earth who will be subject to them. If we could see with our spiritual senses as we now see with our natural senses, we should be greatly shocked at the sight of the influences that prompt us to disobey the counsels of God or the Spirit of the Lord in our hearts. Brigham Young, J.D. 6:73-74. It has been observed that we are pretty clear from those unruly spirits that have been in our midst. So we are, but you need not flatter yourselves for a moment that the devil has left us. You will find that he marshals his forces more particularly against this people, and if we are now clear from those unhallowed spirits and the tabernacles they occupied, you may expect that he will, if possible, find somebody here in whom he can have a resting place. You will learn that the wicked disembodied spirits have not left this people, though the most of those wicked persons who sought to destroy the saints have left us. There are myriads of disembodied evil spirits, those who have long ago laid down their bodies here and in the regions round about, among and around us, and they are trying to make us and our children sick, and are trying to destroy us, and to tempt us to evil. They will try every possible means they are masters of to draw us aside from the path of righteousness. Right bracket Heber C. Kimball, J.D. 11:84-85. Some people do not believe that there are any devils. There are thousands of evil spirits that are just as ugly as evil can make them. The wicked die, and their spirits remain not far from where their tabernacles are. When I was in England 28 years ago next June, I saw more devils than there are persons here today. They came upon me with an intention to destroy me. They are the spirits of wicked men who, while in the flesh, were opposed to God and His purposes. I saw them with what we call the spiritual eyes, but what is in reality the natural eye. The atmosphere of many parts of these mountains is doubtless the abode of the spirits of Gadianton robbers, whose spirits are as wicked as hell, and who would kill Jesus Christ and every apostle and righteous person that ever lived if they had the power. It is by the influence of such wicked spirits that men and women are all the time tempted to tell little lies, to steal a little, to take advantage of their neighbor a little, and they tell us there is no harm in it. It is by the influence and power of evil spirits that the minds of men are prejudiced against each other, until they are led to do each other an injury, and sometimes to kill each other. Brigham Young, J.D. 3:368-369. If the Lord would permit it, and it was His will that it should be done, you could see the spirits that have departed from this world, as plainly as you now see bodies with your natural eyes, as plainly as brothers Kimball and Hyde saw those wicked disembodied spirits in Preston, England. They saw devils there, as we see one another. They could hear them speak, and knew what they said. Could they hear them with the natural ear? No. Did they see those wicked spirits with their natural eyes? No. They could not see them the next morning, when they were not in the spirit, neither could they see them the day before, nor at any other time. Their spiritual eyes were touched by the power of the Almighty. They said they looked through their natural eyes, and I suppose they did. Brother Kimball saw them, but I know not whether his natural eyes were open at the time or not. Brother Kimball said that he lay upon the floor part of the time, and I presume his eyes were shut, but he saw them as also did Brother Hyde, and they heard them speak. We may inquire where the spirits dwell, that the devil has power over. They dwell anywhere, in Preston, as well as in other places in England. Do they dwell anywhere else? Yes, on this continent, it is full of them. If you could see, and would walk over many parts of North America, you would see millions on millions of the spirits of those who have been slain upon this continent. Would you see the spirits of those who were as good in the flesh as they knew how to be? Yes. Would you see the spirits of the wicked? Yes. Could you see the spirits of devils? Yes, and that is all there is of them. They have been deprived of bodies, and that constitutes their curse, that is to say, speaking after the manner of men, you shall be wanderers on the earth, you have got to live out of doors all the time you live. Asterisk, asterisk, asterisk. The devil with 1/3 part of the spirits of our Father's kingdom, got here before us, and we tarried there with our friends, until the time came for us to come to the earth and take tabernacles, but those spirits that revolted were forbidden ever to have tabernacles of their own. You can now comprehend how it is that they are always trying to get possession of the bodies of human beings. We read of a man's being possessed of a legion, and Mary Magdalene had 7. You may now see people with legions of evil spirits in and around them. There are men who walk our streets that have more than 100 devils in them and round about them, prompting them to all manner of evil, and some too that profess to be Latter-day Saints, and if you were to take the devils out of them and from about them, you would leave them dead corpses. For I believe there would be nothing left of them. Right bracket Heber C. Kimball. JD 3:229 to 230. When I was in England, Brother G.O.D. Watt was the first man baptized, and his mother was baptized directly after he was. The night previous to my going forward to baptize Brother Watt and 8 others, I had a vision, as old Father Baker used to say, of the infernal world. I saw legions of wicked spirits that night, as plain as I now see you, and they came as near to me as you now are, and company after company of them rushed towards me, and Brother Hyde and Brother Richards also saw them. It was near the break of day, and I looked upon them as I now look upon you. They came when I was laying hands upon Brother Russell. The wicked spirits got him to the door of the room. I did not see them till after that took place, and soon afterwards I lay prostrate upon the floor. That was in England, pious England, in the little town of Preston, at the corner of Wilford Street, and they struggled and exerted all their power and influence. That was the first introduction of the gospel into England, and I was shown those spirits as plainly as ever I saw anything. I was thinking of that circumstance while Brother Brian was speaking this morning, and I was thinking that those spirits were just as much on hand to perplex this people as they were on hand there. I saw their hands, their eyes, and every feature of their faces, the hair on their heads, and their ears. In short, they had full-formed bodies. If evil spirits could come to me, cannot ministering spirits and angels also come from God? Of course they can, and there are thousands of them, and I wish you to understand this, and that they can rush as an army going to battle, for the evil spirits came upon me and Brother Hyde in that way. Asterisk, asterisk, asterisk. The spirits of the wicked, who have died for thousands of years past, are at war with the saints of God upon the earth. Asterisk, asterisk, asterisk. The next morning I was so weak that I could scarcely stand, so great was the effect that those spirits had upon me. I wrote a few words to my wife about the matter, and Brother Joseph called upon her for the letter and said, it right bracket was a choice jewel, and a testimony that the gospel was planted in a strange land. When I returned home, I called upon Brother Joseph and we walked down the bank of the river. He there told me what contests he had had with the devil. He told that he had contests with the devil, face to face. He also told me how he was handled and afflicted by the devil, and said he had known circumstances where Elder Rigdon was pulled out of bed 3 times in one night. After all this, some persons will say to me that there are no evil spirits. I tell you they are thicker than the Mormons in this country, but the Lord has said that there are more for us than there can be against us. Brigham Young. JD 3:370. Go to the time when the gospel came to the earth in the days of Joseph, take the wicked that have opposed this people, and persecuted them to the death, and they are sent to hell. Where are they? They are in the spirit world, and are just as busy as they possibly can be to do everything they can against the prophet and the apostles, against Jesus and his kingdom. They are just as wicked and malicious in their actions against the cause of truth as they were while on the earth in their fleshly tabernacles. Brigham Young. JD 12:128. It requires all the care and faithfulness which we exercise in order to keep the faith of the Lord Jesus. There are invisible agencies around us in sufficient numbers to encourage the slightest disposition they may discover in us to forsake the true way, and fan into a flame the slightest spark of discontent and unbelief. The spirits of the ancient Gadiantons are around us. You may see battlefield after battlefield scattered over this American right bracket continent where the wicked have slain the wicked. Their spirits are watching us continually for an opportunity to influence us to do evil, or to make us decline in the performance of our duties. And I will defy any man on earth to be more gentlemanly and bland in his manners than the master spirit of all evil. We call him the devil, a gentleman so smooth and so oily that he can almost deceive the very elect. Heber Jarvis. Temples of the Most High, Lundwall, page 81. Upon one occasion President Brigham Young was in the tabernacle at St. George and was speaking on the spirit world. He stated that it was not far from us, and if the veil could be taken from our eyes, there wouldn't be either a man, woman or child who would dare go out of this tabernacle, as the spirits of the Gadianton robbers were so thick out there. This is where they lived in these mountains, said he. Joseph F. Smith. JD 11:313. We have been deceived. We thought that the devil had long horns and tail, a cloven foot, and was black, hideous, and grinning, but when we find him out, he is a gentleman in black broadcloth, with a smooth tongue, pleasant countenance, high forehead, and so on, quite a good-looking fellow. That is the kind of a person we find the devil to be, and we will find him in more persons than one, and that too right in this city. Heber C. Kimball. JD 3:230. If men and women do not qualify themselves and become sanctified and purified in this life, they will go into right bracket a world of spirits, where they will have a greater contest with the devils than ever you had with them here. It will not be 50 years, perhaps, before all of us here today will leave this state of existence, and then you will prove whether Brother Brigham and the rest of the brethren have told you truth or not. You know that the world has made a great deal of fuss, and told many lies about the devil pitching on to Joseph Smith when he went to get the plates, but they will get to a place where the devils will handle them worse than they did Joseph when he got the plates. If they do not embrace the gospel, it will be so. Brigham Young. JD 2:128. Those who suffer their bodies to be dwellings for evil spirits must suffer loss, for devils cannot construct a house that will in any way answer their purpose, neither have they been able to do so in all the eternities there are. That is the very thing which causes us trouble continually, for they are trying all the time to get into our dwellings, because they have none of their own. Did you ever desire to take possession of another person's tabernacle, and leave your own? No rational person owning a tabernacle would wish to do so. The devils have no tabernacles, which is the reason of their wanting to possess human bodies. If any of you have suffered any of these houseless spirits to enter you, turn them out, and they will perhaps seek refuge in the body of an ox, or some other animal, or maybe go into Jordan. Do you think the legion we read of, that entered the swine, in the days of Christ, had bodies of their own? No, they have no meeting houses, but in ballrooms, gaming houses, brothels, gin palaces, parlors, bedrooms, and other places which they frequent, and the bodies of those they lead captive. Otherwise they are wandering to and fro in the earth, seeking to possess tabernacles that other spirits, not of their order, already occupy. They are in our midst watching for an opportunity to enter where they right bracket may. What will be the doom of those who give way to them, and yield to them the possession of their tabernacles? They will wander to and fro, happiness will be hid from them, they will weep, and wail, and suffer, until their bodies return to their mother earth, and their spirits to judgment. Brigham Young. JD 7:239-240. I know very well that, whether we are active or not, the invisible spirits are active. And every person who desires and strives to be a saint is closely watched by fallen spirits that came here when Lucifer fell, and by the spirits of wicked persons who have been here in tabernacles and departed from them, but who are still under the control of the prince of the power of the air. Those spirits are never idle, they are watching every person who wishes to do right, and are continually prompting them to do wrong. This makes it necessary for us to be continually on our guard, makes this probation a continual warfare. We do not expect to be idle. The individual that obtains a celestial kingdom will never be idle in the flesh. It is a spiritual warfare. He contends against the spirits of darkness, and against the workers of iniquity, and wars all the day long against his own passions that pertain to fallen man. ****. Pertaining to the present state of the world, you know what evil spirits are doing. They are visiting the human family with various manifestations. I told the people, years and years ago, that the Lord wished them to believe in revelation, and that if they did not believe what he had revealed, he would let the devil make them believe in revelation. Do you not think that the devil is making them believe in revelation? What is called spirit rapping, spirit knocking, and so forth, is produced by the spirits that the Lord has suffered to communicate to people on the earth, and make them believe in revelation. Brigham Young. JD 14:74. When the elders of Israel first commenced to preach the gospel, there was no such thing known on the earth as a belief in spiritual manifestations, which are now so general. I promised them years and years ago, when I commenced my career in the ministry, that, if they did not accept the revelations which God had delivered to the children of men, he would suffer the enemy of all righteousness to give them revelations to their heart's content, and they would receive and believe them. What is the condition of the Christian world today? They are seeking after mischievous muttering spirits, they are seeking to know something that is not true, and to establish that which no true philosophy on earth will establish. Brigham Young. JD 12:128. We have been baptized by men having the authority of the holy priesthood of the Son of God, and consequently we have power over him which the rest of the world do not possess, and all who possess the power of the priesthood have the power and right to rebuke those evil spirits. When we rebuke those evil powers, and they obey not, it is because we do not live so as to have the power with God, which it is our privilege to have. If we do not live for this privilege and right, we are under condemnation.